days of breaking into places and stealing shit are over. What do you need me to do? I want you to break into a place and steal some shit. Makes sense. Welcome to the Pixel Pop Movie Podcast. I am your host, Toby. This fortnight, I am joined with the slightly small, ever-shrinking Ethan.
Why am I small?
Well, I don't know. Ask your mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
And the ever-expanding, going to be giant man, Lucas.
Are you calling me fat, you fucking asshole?
I see what you're doing here.
Absolutely.
How did you not guess that, Ethan? He does something related to that.
Yeah. I'm tired, all right? Leave me alone today.
The worst. So obviously, if you're not a dullard like these two, you figured out that this fortnight's podcast is looking at the Ant-Man sequel. We weren't with you last fortnight because some useless old fart completely botched up the volume levels.
Not to
Amateur.
Yeah,
not to
total
name
rookie.
names.
Not to name names,
Not to
but it
name
was
names.
totally me. Totally rookie down.
Right.
But that's okay, because it was 40 minutes of me monologuing about Luke Cage, and it just got really... I fell asleep. It was terrible. But we're going to do... We got a lot of news, because it's been a month, so we got a lot of news. We're going to hit the important stuff. We're going to do a quick, spoiler-free thoughts on Luke Cage Season 2. But, of course, there's also the written piece on the website if you want to read that. And then we're going to delve into Ant-Man. And that'll be spoiler-free initially, and then Lucas will do what he does and explode everywhere and tell you all the naughty bits. So before we get into that, though, let's dive into this news, because it's meaty and it's chunky. It's like Uncle Scrooge jumping into his vault. Hit us with some news, Ethan.
First bit of news we got is, as we know, Sony has their own Spider-Man universe they're doing, well, not including Spider-Man. Well, they've confirmed they're going to be getting a Silk movie, based on the Korean girl.
Yeah, so basically, for those that aren't kind of in the loop of who's who, they teased the chick that plays Silk in Spider-Man Homecoming. It's actually Cindy, who's in the Mathletes team with Peter. So that's going to be really cool. I really hope that this does well. We obviously need a lot more female-fronted superhero movies.
Is it just me?
But
or is New York kind of like our Blue Healers, but with
Ground-
superheroes? Like
Ground
every
Zero.
person...
Ground Zero
like,
for superhero.
Like, you know, Blue Healers, population 12, 1,500 murders per year, right? And it's like, New York, population 20-something million, 18 million are superheroes.
Yeah.
It
Well,
just,
I mean,
there's a lot.
yeah, you got a point, but technically Iron Man started in LA.
I know, but I mean, if I pulled
Yeah.
up the Marvel Wiki and put in,
Yeah.
like, New
There's your-
York-based
There's
heroes...
your theory out the window.
New York-based heroes, I mean, there would have to be, over the entire lifespan of Marvel Comics, there would have to be a phenomenal amount of them running around in New York.
Well, with
You think
news
about it though,
that...
New York.
You can,
I was
Lucas.
gonna say, you think about it though, what's one of the most iconic cities in the world? New York.
Paris.
Whereas just about
London.
you know, well, you got Paris.
Rome.
You got Paris. Okay, let me rephrase. Which is the most iconic place in the United States? That
Chicago,
isn't-
San Francisco,
No,
Boston,
nah.
New Orleans.
New
Come on,
Orleans.
man, New Orleans.
Well, I mean, they're doing Cloak and Dagger in New Orleans as well.
And rightly so. There's
Yeah,
nothing quite
but-
like, you know, crawling around in some swampland.
Yeah, exactly. Funnily enough, though, just to kind of like piggyback onto Cloak and Dagger, I was talking to Ethan. They hinted at Luke Cage. It's our first official crossover, kind of between any type of like the regular TV, the Netflix stuff, and the movies. It's the first real major one outside of Coulson.
That'd be neat. Was it in a trailer or something, was it? Or
No. So in Luke Cage, actually it was referenced in Luke Cage, but then in Cloak and Dagger they kind of referenced it back. So I think it's in like the first couple of episodes. Misty's talking about a specific detective being missing from the Harlem precinct, and they went, yeah, she moved to New Orleans. That character is in Cloak and Dagger.
oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was it's very subtle, because if you're not looking for it, you don't know it. But because Cloak and Dagger was like 2 or 3 episodes out before Luke Cage came out, so I'd already seen this couple of episodes and I'd been introduced to that character. When Luke Cage kind of back referenced her and was like, oh yeah, she took a job in New Orleans. It was like, oh shit, like,
You know,
you know,
it's awesome.
it's not a major connection, but like it's probably one of the biggest connections we've had. And
What's awesome is none of this has
time.
anything to do with Spider-Man. Not even a little bit.
It doesn't. Well, it does, because New York. Because Toby wanted to compare New York to Blue Healers.
Yeah, which is fair.
I don't know what
which
Blue Heelers
fair.
is, so I'm stuck out of this.
You don't know what anything is because
Yeah.
you're 12.
No, I don't.
You're literally 12.
All right, moving on.
Did you watch this week's episode of Play School?
Hey, it's a good show.
It is a good show.
I learnt my
Alright.
shapes in that show.
Next, we have
A rectangle
good
in the
proper.
round.
We had a good proper trailer for The Predator.
Yep.
No, I like the look
Bin,
of this.
bin.
Toby doesn't, but I
Bin.
like the look of it.
Not just
I'm
me,
watching the
the
movie.
internet doesn't like it. It's terrible.
The 73,000 likes against the 5.7 thousand dislikes says otherwise. Thank you very much.
Yeah, any other movie would have like millions of likes and
Well, this
dislikes.
isn't every other movie. This isn't an MCU movie
Nah.
that get fucking
It's gonna-
quadrillion fucking likes, alright?
This is going in the same pile that the second AVP movie is in. It's terrible.
That's not a bad movie, though.
What?
Is that the same pile as Alien vs
What?
Predator?
I'm sorry. Clear the airwaves. AVP 2 wasn't a bad movie?
I got both of them on Blu-ray. I watch them all the time. They're good.
The
I like
fuck
them.
is wrong with you?
Just Toby, just remember, this is the guy that still hasn't seen Sicario yet.
Yeah, I know, but it's still.
you
watch
too.
this fucking Skyline sequel. Jesus
I
fuck.
watched half of it. I was curious.
And then
That's
got bored.
That's half too much.
Yeah, nah, this movie is gonna suck huge hairy gonads, and it's gonna, like a flaming ball, just,
You know,
die.
I would rather watch AVP 2 over Sicario any day.
What, you
Oh,
can't
shit,
compare the two because you haven't
This
seen one of
podcast is
them.
over. This podcast is over. It's going to be a really bad breakup.
That's alright, he's entitled. You've got to have someone on the panel that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. It
Yeah,
brings
that's me
spice
all
and
the
humour.
Thank God it's not Toby for once.
Oh,
Too soon?
that's right. I'm gonna
No,
get Jesse on next fortnight. He'll he'll back me up. He'll be in my corner.
And I'll just knock him down with all the shitty DC stuff. It's alright.
I'm actually really excited for Predator, though, getting back to the point.
Oh, so am I.
No, like I'm not big on the lore. I saw the first two, and then I think I saw Alien vs Predator 1. I didn't see the remake, but I mean, there's nothing in this that's made me go nah. Like it looks cool. I like Boyd Holbrook, the guy who's going to be the lead in it. Olivia Munn as well from the Newsroom and X-Men Apocalypse. Yeah, I mean the cast looks pretty solid. It's another Shane Black movie. Outside of Iron Man 3, which I thought was complete dog shit, he's been pretty consistently good, so I don't have any reason to think this is going to be bad based on who's involved. But then again, it's Fox. Anything could fucking happen.
That trailer just puts me to sleep.
Well, you can go to sleep and you can stay there for the whole 2.5 hours, alright?
You can
why
have your
even
old
bother?
man nap, Toby, and you can have a nice little sleep.
Old man nap. I'll get a fucking motorcycle chain and show you, old man nap.
You have to catch
Alright.
me.
It won't be hard.
Shut up.
Next, moving on.
Oh.
Next, we've got Jared Leto has been cast as Morbius, the living vampire in a movie, which is another one of Sony's Spider-Man movies, but not Spider-Man universe movies.
You know, I was about to go, we already knew that, and then I realised it was from last fortnight, and
Yes, Toby.
yeah.
That's the old man coming through now.
Yeah. Fortunately,
This is,
Ethan won't be joining us for the rest of his life.
This is interesting casting. I think it's better than the Joker casting by a long shot. But then again, anyone that's kind of like, I mean, Heath Ledger's casting as the Joker was very, very controversial at the time. I like him for Morbius, though. I think he'll do it really well.
Coming
Fair
up, Jared Leto and Joker, we've got the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie is happening.
Is this the Scorsese?
Yeah.
Scorsese, yeah.
Scorsese
Oh,
origin
okay,
film?
he's producing it. Todd Phillips, who did the Hangover movies, is directing and co-writing the script.
This
It's
whole
something this year.
this whole thing is just the strangest.
What you need
most
to do here,
strangely
I
put
think, is because when
together-
you first think Joaquin Phoenix, you're sort of thinking, Her or whatever it is, and more recent stuff. Go back and think of him in Gladiator, where he's the pretty much mad emperor. That's what I think he's going to try and put on the screen for a Joker film. Like, he can do this. He can.
Yeah, I mean, he's another actor that's got an incredibly versatile range. This is I think the casting is really interesting because Phoenix has openly stated that superhero movies are just the death of cinema. He
He
hates
doesn't.
them.
Yeah, this is not going to be a superhero film.
No, it's going to be an all artsy style. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like I get it's going to kind of feel like a Scorsese film in a way because Scorsese's going to heavily influence it with the production. But I don't know. Just with how much interference Warner Brothers has had with its DC movies lately, I don't know how involved they're going to get with this, and that's what I'm worried about because Phoenix is such a unique actor that I feel that if the studio kind of gets in his ear and tells him what to do, it's going to become very paint by numbers and it's going to suck because Phoenix isn't going to want to be there. I don't think
Scorsese is going to let that happen though. He's a big enough director that the movie studio and the producers will tend to leave him alone a bit because he's bankable. And
hopefully.
I think he's proven himself. And it's sort of like, Denis Villeneuve now doing Dune. Like, they're just going to leave him to do it, you know what I mean? Because he's made money, he's banked. I think that's the case with this. And I think, it's going to be a bit art housey. I suspect it's going to have some sort of... It's going to be more like a crime film.
Well, that's what he said. Scorsese said it's going to be a gritty and grounded, hard-boiled crime film set in Gotham City in the early 80s. So I'd say we're going to get the Joker origins in this.
Yeah.
I'd say that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Moving on, Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle sequel gets a release date of December 13th next year. So that's going to be going up against Last Jedi. And it made...
Episode 9.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, not Last Jedi, Episode 9. The original went up against Last Jedi last year. And it made a decent amount of money, about $970 million, I think.
Yeah, so, enough that the movie studio went, cool, let's have some more of that. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Exactly. Is there a script we can option right now? Print me a check. Like that.
But that is
I hate this shit.
I
hate this shit. Like where it's just a case of it made money, so you must make a sequel. I hate that.
It was received really well too. Like there were a lot of people that was going to be super critical of it. One, because they were making a Jumanji movie so close to Robin Williams' death, and two, the original Jumanji didn't need a sequel, so what the fuck was this going to be? You then also got The Rock, who, as much as I love the dude, and I like a lot of the movies that he's in, he's a bit overplayed right now. Kevin Hart, a bit overplayed right now. You've got Jack Black coming in a weird fucking role, and then you've got, in the middle of all that, Karen Gillan. Like, the casting was super weird. The trailers for it didn't look that great. You go into the movie and you actually watch it. I still haven't seen it yet, but everything that I've heard, it is excellent.
It's a good movie. It's entertaining for sure.
The fact as well, this says how much faith that the studio has in it. That movie made just under $1 billion against a fucking Star Wars film.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. All I'm saying is it just upsets me when the motivation isn't great casting, great story, great this, great that. The motivation is it made $1. I mean, that's how the world turns around. I understand.
That's just Hollywood.
But it just shits me that that's the motivation.
Well, the thing is as well, we don't know, like, okay, so again, I haven't seen the movie. Was there sequel bait at the end of the movie? Like, it would all depend on how the movie ended. If the movie has a definitive ending, then they're going to go and...
Yeah, it has a definitive ending.
Okay, cool. So then, now knowing that, it's a strange choice to then do a sequel. Again, if they're doing it...
Cast, though.
If they're doing it with the same cast...
Same cast, yep.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing it with the same cast. If it has a definitive ending, then I'm someone who is kind of the belief of just fucking end it. Like, unless you're going to put teasers in there for another film, don't do another one. Move on to something else. But
that's it. But rather than go back and sit down and think about a whole new design, new cast, new story, like keep it fresh, keep it interesting. This is just going to be like a part 2, and that bothers me.
Why build a new well when you can go back to the old one? Looking at Fast and Furious here.
Because you want to be exciting and interesting and unique and creative. I don't know.
Yeah, but who wants that when you can just...
I do.
The thing that, congratulations, you're one person.
Well, I don't have... We've got, 43 people on the ATGN PPN team now? It'd be pretty boring if they were all Lucas or Ethan or me.
Nah, fuck off. If they were all me, you'd have a fucking laugh.
I'd never get anything done. Oh!
You would never get anything done. That's exactly right. Exactly.
And if it was all Ethan, we'd never have any DC on anything ever.
Yeah, you would.
Bless him.
Alright, next we have a Halo TV series has been ordered by Showtime for next year. 10 episodes, hour-long episodes, straight to series order, no pilot. They've just gone full steam ahead with it.
The kiddies will be happy.
I'm happy.
I'm really excited.
Exactly,
For this.
you're
I'm
12.
really excited.
I'm not 12, goddammit!
Lucas is 14. I mean, you guys would be happy.
I haven't
My
played a Halo game in about
Xbox.
10 years, but I'm still super excited for this.
No. Pass.
Alright, moving on. We have Kevin Feige has said that Marvel Studios will make a Doctor Strange, definitely. Even though he,
sequel, you
disappeared in Infinity War. But they're definitely making one.
Wait.
Which you kind of assume they would anyway.
Wait, are they going to make a Doctor Strange movie?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, awesome!
Oh, true, bro.
Are they going to make a sequel as well?
Yeah.
Oh, no way!
Oh, cool. No doubt.
Yeah, I was happy with that news. We haven't had. What was that? Sorry.
This just in podcast news. 10 years old.
Kevin Feige's been kind of dropping those announcements left, right, and center, Because they announced just announced the director for the Black Widow movie.
Yep. And now that you mention that, I will bring that in right now. So Marvel Studios has finally found its Black Widow director, Kate Shortland.
Yeah. So she's done a few spy movies from what I'm aware. So this sounds like it's perfect for her.
And yeah, the Black Widow movie will be a prequel as well.
Yes.
So it's rumored to be a prequel to about her origins, probably, and her early, life as a spy. And we'll probably get Sebastian standing there and Winter Soldier and how she knows him in the past and all that sort of thing.
I feel like the story is going to be revolving around her red. If you remember, the whole thing about her having red in her ledger.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be her clearing her ledger, meeting Hawkeye, having the encounter with Bucky.
Yep, meeting Fury, all the rest of it.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna. I feel like there's gonna be some kind of. It's definitely gonna be a world building movie. They'll probably introduce elements into that will feed into the MCU later, kind of like what they're doing with Captain Marvel. I mean, right now that's kind of the time to do these things. And as much criticism as Marvel's copped for not doing a Black Widow movie straight away, taking their time with it and doing the right story, I feel is more important than just rushing the movie out to have the movie out.
It's not, and it's got nothing to do with her gender or anything it's to do with her abilities and powers. You needed that glam rock on the screen to begin with. You needed explosive Hulk kind of in-your-face characters. Black Widow is, she's an extraordinary human, but she's just a human. You know what I mean?
Exactly like Hawkeye. Yeah,
over the course of these films, we've got to know her a lot more, and she's got a lot of depth, and she's an interesting character. Now we're ready to sit down and watch a Black Widow movie. But if you'd done this 10 years ago, it would have just flopped. Yeah,
I mean, and that's the other side of the coin too. I feel like we need Black Widow to evolve more for us to care about her. Because I feel if you had dropped a Black Widow movie even in 2011, 2012, right after Avengers, that I don't think people would have cared as much.
Yeah, she's definitely evolved. Yeah.
Yeah, and as well, like I was saying, putting Black Widow into a movie for the sake of having her in a movie versus giving her the right story and giving her a good story, I feel that's more important.
Absolutely.
This movie's been in development for 5 or 6 years. So yeah, I'm just really excited that we're getting a Black Widow movie. I'm excited we're getting a Black Widow movie that Marvel is happy enough with to think that, okay, cool, this is the right way to go.
Before the cover is Iron Man shit on the front taking up most of it, like Spider-Man.
Oh no, not again.
Iron Man 4, co-starring Black Widow.
Yeah.
Moving on, we've got Jim Carrey is apparently in talks to play Dr. Robotnik in the live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which is fucking way out there, but sure, alright.
That's awesome.
That's weird casting.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Classic Carrey. It'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be good. It'll be good. I can see him.
Yeah,
think Grinch, he's or not Grinch. Mask. He's got this. It's going to be that cartoon over the top sort of thing. But again, in what I mentioned in the now defunct episode, Carrey I felt was always better as a serious actor. The man can act, but he just sort of got pigeonholed into the comedic stuff, whether through his own actions or the actions of others. But his career in sort of serious acting, quote unquote, really never took off. So I guess he's returning to, what he's known for. Yeah,
I feel like both sides of his career went from the serious stuff to the comedy. Both are very good for very different reasons. You go back and look at stuff like Ace Ventura, The Mask, all that early 90s, mid 90s comedy stuff. And then you move ahead and then you go and watch him in The Truman Show, The Number 23, the one with the cinema. I can't remember what that one was called. But all of those movies as well were just as good for very different reasons. Carrey's a really good actor, but like you said, he got pigeonholed very much into the slapstick.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, the movie's obviously a year or two away, but I think he can do it. What is more interesting, it's live action. Is it with CG elements, though? Is Sonic going to be CG?
Yeah, I think Sonic will be CG. James
Because if it's a dude in a fucking blue suit, that's going to be terrible.
Yeah, they can't have this live action. It's going to look fucking atrocious.
Yeah. Well, it is live action. No, it is
way.
live action, though. It
Yeah,
is. I'm pretty sure it's live action with CG elements.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So if that's the case, they're probably going to do something like Garfield, not to compare those two into the same thing, but like whereas you're going to have human characters and then got stuff like Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Robotnik and all that, they'll probably be CGI. Yeah.
Moving on, we've got an Alien TV show set in the movie universe, maybe in development. I'm looking forward to this. This should be good.
If true, it'll be good.
Yeah.
If it happens, depending on obviously who's directing it, what time they're setting it in, because it's obviously the Alien universe spreads like there's 50 years between Alien and Aliens, and I think it's between Alien, the first Alien, and the last one, something like a couple hundred years. So it's really going to depend on what era it's set in, and who's involved and what storyline they're going to follow. But yeah, still cautiously optimistic.
Next we have Nicolas Cage is going to be playing Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Oh, he's doing the voice.
He's doing the voice of Spider-Man Noir.
So this is another one where the casting is just all over the place, because in that movie as well, they haven't fully confirmed it, but Jake Johnson from New Girl is going to be playing like Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And he's going to be mentoring Miles Morales, who I don't know who's playing Miles Morales. I don't really remember.
I think it's not a new guy.
But they basically told him that they told Jake Johnson he's not allowed to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Like, because someone asked him, because it got leaked or something, that because his voice, like if you've seen the trailer and you know how Jake Johnson talks, his Peter Parker voice is very different, and someone pointed it out that it was him, and he was like, I can't talk about it. And they're like, why can't you talk about it? He's like, I've been told that I'm not allowed to talk about any type of Spider-Man role I'm asked about. So like, it's really funny because it's like he's not confirming that he's Peter Parker, but everyone knows he's Peter Parker. But Sony are like, don't talk about the fact that you're Peter Parker, so he can't talk about the fact that he's Peter Parker. Or the fact, that he may or may not be Peter Parker. Like, it's kind of one of those things where everybody knows and it's the worst kept secret, but then he's not allowed to talk about it. It's just lame.
Yeah. All right. Next, we've got some big news. Billy D. Williams is returning as Lando Calrissian in Star Wars Episode 9.
Boom.
Which I'm pretty sure is probably one of the main reasons why they had him in such like that character in the Solo movie, whilst to sort of get his popularity up for Episode 9.
Hey everyone, how's Han, Luke, and Leia? Oh,
let's just bring one of the only returning people back from the old ones. It's him and Chewie until you got C-3PO and R2. That's about it.
Well, no, not even Han. Like, literally the only ones that are left are Chewie, C-3PO, and R2-D2, and now Lando.
We've got a proper trailer for Castle Rock came out, which is only about 2 weeks away from actually airing.
Oh boy. Hype,
this looks good.
Hype. Yeah, I mean,
a lot of references to a lot of Stephen King works in that trailer.
Well, that's the whole point. Yeah, I mean, it's all based around King's work. Castle Rock's the fictional town where he based a lot of his stuff in. You know, it's got his prison in there. It's got a lot of the cast in the show have been in King's movies over the years. Skarsgård, we got a better look at his character. He's looking. Has he got contacts in again? I know he can do the eyes by himself with the one eye looking off, but it looks like he's got like they've increased his iris size, like his pupil size.
Yeah, he looks like a mental patient too. Like,
yeah, I just wonder how it all
really
ties
cool,
together because, like spoilers, the creature in it isn't the only one out there.
Yeah,
and I just
they
wonder
reference that as well. Like the trailer has
wonder...
references to like Cujo and stuff too.
Well, and did you see the balloons? There's a very short snippet where the balloons go. So I just wonder if Skarsgård's going to be playing another one of those creatures. You know what I mean?
It's possible.
That'd be cool.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be really
but anyway,
cool.
like it's all speculation at this stage. But it's looking really good, and that's great because there hasn't been a good sort of King. Most of King's TV shows, like straight to TV shows that have been done over the years, were really bad. Like it's the worst of the worst. If Jesse was here, he'd probably agree with me. So I'm looking forward to some good Stephen King TV show.
Do you have Sissy Spacek who is in
Yeah.
Castle Rock, she was Carrie in the 1976 movie.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
heaps of them in there. There's
And
heaps
you
of
also
them in there.
have Scott
Yeah.
Glenn. Scott Glenn is playing Alan Pangborn, and Alan Pangborn was the sheriff in Needful Things as well.
Yeah, I know that there's a ton of crossover between like movies that have been adapted by Stephen King and a lot of the actors that were in those movies coming into the show as kind of like a tribute, which I also think is really cool. I haven't seen a lot of Stephen King stuff. I know we talked about it on the Stephen King podcast. I still kind of haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but you know, having a lot of those actors return into different roles to kind of play homage to Stephen King's career is really cool, especially in a show like Castle Rock where everything's going to be combined into basically one continuity.
Well, it's going to be good. It's going to be good because it's got J.J. Abrams.
I was going to say J.J. Abrams in this, so I'm instantly in there for it.
Yeah.
So the next news we got, Neil Blomkamp is set to direct a RoboCop sequel.
Yeah, I'm cool with this too.
It's going to be R-rated again. I haven't seen the RoboCop.
Yeah, so it's for clarification, it's a direct.
It's a true sequel to the original '87 film.
The original one, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on right now, isn't there? So much where we're just like, the last 20 years. Let's ignore that and go back to the '80s version. But I'm cool with that, and Blomkamp will do it well because he said before that like movies like the original RoboCop are a big inspiration to him and his style.
Yeah.
So going back and doing this, it's gonna the throwaway ads for the sunscreen 50 million and all that's like that's right up his alley. It should be good.
Oh yeah. Next we've got seemingly Samuel L. Jackson has confirmed his that he's back as Nick Fury in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah,
some post on Instagram.
Yeah, or was it Instagram?
Yeah.
Or was it Twitter? One of them. But
It was Instagram.
Showed he getting his prosthetics and makeup and everything done.
Yep. And to finish us off for news, the biggest part that I'm really looking forward to is a Zombieland sequel is fully on a go with Emma Stone, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, and Abigail Breslin all back as their characters from the first one. Filming starts next year in January for release in October next year.
Yep, and the guys that originally wrote it and directed it, which is Rhett Rink and the two guys that wrote Deadpool,
Paul Wernick and
they're coming back.
Wrote it. Ruben Fleischer,
they're coming back.
He's currently doing Venom, but he's back for Zombieland 2 as well.
Will Bill Murray come back as a real zombie this time?
God, let's hope.
I hope so. I love you, Bill. Thanks for listening.
That would be amazing. That cameo was the best, and then when it was taken away from us, I was devastated.
All right, so that's news, is it?
Yep.
All right. I know we had to chop some out because there was some more sort of incidental stuff. Next weekend is the San Diego Comic-Con. We know that Marvel's not fronting up there for anything major, but there'll probably be a few little snippets.
James Gunn's teasing something though on Instagram.
It'll be his horror movie he worked on with Elizabeth Banks the past couple of months. It'll be that.
Yeah.
Oh.
We will post any and all exciting, cool new trailers on the Pixel Pop Network Facebook page as they come to light, and then of course, next podcast we'll be probably doing a roundup episode where we sort of cover a lot of that. It should be really interesting. Let's quickly do some spoiler-free thoughts on Luke Cage Season 2. Ethan still hasn't finished it all, which is that just speaks volumes to me. Lucas, what did you think?
I really liked it. It's the better season of Luke Cage, quite easily in my opinion. I'm gonna throw it out there. Bushmaster's the best Marvel villain yet. He's just beating out Tennant for me, but I feel it's for very different reasons. Tennant was just an evil son of a bitch, where Bushmaster had legitimate grievances. And those grievances drove the plot, and those grievances, for the most part, paid off pretty well. Luke was awesome. The only complaint I really have about Luke is that he just felt like, it was Bushmaster's show, and then Luke was kind of there to be like, no, stop, please, Mm-hmm. But again, like the plot was very much driven around Mariah and Bushmaster's grievance with each other, and Luke kind of being
caught in the middle.
Yeah, Luke caught in the middle and trying to defend Harlem from chaos. But Bushmaster I thought was really cool. The introduction of Tilda I thought was really interesting. In the comic book, she's actually not Mariah's daughter as she is in the show, but her name, funnily enough, is Nightshade, which is the shit that they give, the shit that she makes to give Bushmaster his powers. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool season. I was expecting a little bit more out of the Danny Rand cameo. Other than just a single episode, like they kind of put that up, when they were advertising it, and even like all the stuff behind the scenes, like Danny Rand, what's his name? The guy who plays Danny Rand was on set for a long time. So whether they cut a bunch of his stuff out because then it took the focus away or whatever, I don't know. But
Did you? What did you think? I felt that I was worried about his martial arts, even in that one episode. Finn's martial arts still looked really slow, and
they looked much better,
but still not good. I felt. I was really like. There's one scene where you can sort of see him waiting for the stuntman, and it just looked clunky.
I don't think that falls on him necessarily, though. Like,
sure, and maybe not. But the point is, as a character going into season 2, and the biggest beef people had with season 1 was, Iron Fist is the greatest martial artist that has ever lived, ever, full stop, ever, and this is terrible. And now you're going into season 2. I mean, this has to be fixed, or people are just going to tune right out. It doesn't matter how good Finn can act.
I really hope that they've learnt the mistakes of season 1. It seems that they did with Defenders, but at the same time, they made Danny Rand more of a crybaby bitch.
They've certainly dialed it back. Like that episode he appears in, it really dials that back.
You know what? That was the most likable he's been, and I actually I liked him in Iron Fist. Having him kind of have that naivety of, he left New York when he was 12. The place is completely different to when he was a kid. So he's expecting it to be that wondrous place and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people had that criticism, and that's totally fine. I understood it to a point, but I really hope they dial that back in season 1, because now he's had time to get used to how New York runs. So now he's just got to be the kick-ass martial artist. I hope that they've learned from their mistakes in the fight choreography of season 1. Defenders looked like that they did. A lot of his fight scenes, there was a couple of bits in the fight scenes that he was specifically in that were kind of bad, but for the most part, it was passable.
I think the smartest thing they could do is get him in the mask, and then you can start using a stump double for the harder stuff.
Absolutely, they need to costume. They need to costume.
I'm not trying to put Finn down. Like, he's a good actor, and he looks.
Martial arts is not. He's not a martial artist, though.
No, that's right, and that's fine. But when you're playing a character that's supposed to be the greatest martial artist that's ever lived, there's an expectation, and I think put him in the mask, get a body double that knows martial arts, and you can start showing Iron Fist really doing some crazy stuff. I think we need to see some Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there.
So, but yeah, look, my full review on Spoiler Free is on the Pixelbot Network website. I hit on a few other points like the music. We won't go into that now. I put it as slightly better than season 1. And going forward into season 3, I'd like to see something a bit more fresh, because season 1, it's Diamondback has his grievances, and he was wronged as a kid and now he needs revenge. And then season 2, it's like Bushmaster was wronged as a kid and and it's kind of like, well, we've done this, let's have something fresh. And the only thing I'm going to really touch on quickly was just the use of the N-word, because I had a few people agree with me on this one, and that is that season 1, Luke Cage is really against it. He doesn't like being called it. He doesn't like using it. And then in season 2, he's sort of just
super casual about it.
Yeah, and it's just, look, I'm not naive. I can imagine what conversations are like on the street of Harlem. Like, I'm not naive. But it was just for that particular character, going from season 1 to season 2, it was something I really noticed. And I just thought it was a little odd. But again, maybe that's trying to sort of show the decline of the character and from, the evolution of where he's coming from and where he's going and all the rest of it. So,
quite possibly, yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was better than the first one, only just for me. Bring on Iron Fist 2, Daredevil 3, Punisher 2.
To go a little bit off track, have they announced anything for Daredevil yet?
Nope.
No, hopefully, I'm hoping Comic-Con we might get some trailers for these things and more announcements. That would be sweet.
Possibly. Well, yeah, Marvel Studios isn't going to be there, but Marvel Television is.
Correct, yeah. So I'm expecting, probably at the very least, a trailer for Iron Fist 2, because I believe that's next. And if we're lucky, we might get something for Daredevil 3. And if we're really, really lucky, you might just get one of those sort of really brief 10-second sort of Punisher kind of things.
Daredevil 3 will be before Iron Fist 2.
No, I don't think it will be.
I think it will be.
I'm pretty sure.
I think they finished.
I think you're going to see Iron Fist doing Daredevil's job, which was hinted at the end of Defenders. I think you're going to see him protecting New York.
And that's why I think Daredevil 3 is going to come beforehand. I think we're going to see Iron Fist for a couple of episodes, and then Daredevil's going to come back, and then basically Danny's going to give him back the mantle to lead into season 2.
Maybe. I think Daredevil
that's my
3 is going to be a bit of a bookend because it's going to change the battlefield. Like you're going to have, I think Daredevil 3 is where we're going to see, what's his face in prison? The big, Mr. Big, not Mr. Big. Fisk. Yeah, I think he's going to come out of jail, and that's going to, because obviously he plays an important part in the original story from the comic books. I think he's going to get out of jail, and he's going to bring down, Daredevil and whatever have you. So I think it's going to be a bit of a bookend because it's going to reset the New York battlefield in terms of Netflix shows. So I think it makes more sense to do that. I can almost see the end of Daredevil 3 almost being like a little mini Defenders 2 kind of regrouping with, Daredevil teaming up with Iron Fist, who's been looking after New York, and maybe, say, Cage, to sort of, reclaim his dignity, I guess. We'll have to wait and see. But I think it more likely it'll be, because it's going to be big. It's going to be really big. And I think it's just, if it like going from Infinity War to Spider-Man, it would be too much of a step down. Whereas if you do Iron Fist 2 and then go to Daredevil 3, it's a step up. I think it would be a smarter play. But we'll see. I'm sure we'll find out this coming next weekend. Right, let's move on to Ant-Man and the Wasp. You two lads have both seen it, I believe, yes?
Yes.
Sure have.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't intend to at the cinema. It's not a cinema one for me. So I just read all the plot points online and the spoilers. But let's start with spoiler-free for those who haven't seen the film and maybe are sitting on the fence. Ethan, what did you think?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I feel like
everything.
Yeah, I do.
Is there a Marvel film you don't love?
Yeah, Captain America, the first one.
Iron Man 3.
Dirty motherfucker.
I like Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3 was trash.
First Captain. Get the fuck out of my podcast. You just said that to bait me. I can hear the reel going.
No, that is actually my least favorite Marvel movie. Is Captain America.
Least favorite, but do you still love it?
I like it, but
Okay.
It's my least favorite one out of all of them.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But back on track, yeah, I liked Ant-Man and the Wasp. I felt the humor was great. Evangeline Lilly shined as the Wasp, which is one of the best parts of that movie. Yeah, it's good.
Is it a step down though? Like the pacing, there was that fear of we would come off Infinity War at a certain really high peaked energy adrenaline. Are we stepping down into this, or is that not a concern?
This is honestly this was the movie we needed after how heavy
a nice, just fun, easygoing movie that's just fun to watch. The humor, the comedy, the action, it all just feels fun and lively.
Absolute barrel of laughs. It was so funny. And as well, because going into Infinity War, we knew, okay, some shit's going to go down. The expectation with Ant-Man, with having Paul Rudd as your lead, Evangeline Lilly, who's not really a funny person, she's funny in interviews, but a lot of her roles have been very serious. Michael Douglas, who's known to be funny. There's a lot of the movie predominantly relies on Paul Rudd's comedy, and we kind of knew that. And having this be the first film after the events of Infinity War, probably the best decision they could have made. It was definitely the movie that we needed.
Right. I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler. Timeline-wise, this movie happens, concurrently?
Before
Infinity War.
Okay, so this is all before...
Yeah.
Okay.
That takes place for about 2 days in, their time as well.
Yeah, I'd say it's about a 72-hour block. But it is set... I don't know if it's spoiler or not, so I'm not going to say it. But, yeah, it is definitely set before the movie.
Okay. So, I mean... where do you put this on the ladder? Is it better than the first Ant-Man? Start with that. Is it better than Ant-Man 1?
I think it is. I enjoyed this more than Ant-Man 1, I would say. Mostly because in the first one, you mostly just had Paul Rudd doing the humor a lot. But now
his Spanish friends.
Yeah, and now you get Evangeline Lilly joins in on the humor. Michael Douglas puts some more in there. The other supporting characters have a lot more in there in terms of humor-wise. New characters have more in there. It just feels... Overall, I enjoyed it more than the first Ant-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, I think it goes without saying, but the standout was Michael Pena as Louise again. Absolutely hysterical. Him and the other two guys, David Dalmatian and T.I.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
I do love.
They
I
were,
heard he has a more epic monologue in this one, where it's sort of, so I heard he has a more epic monologue in this one, where it's sort of. So I heard from a friend. I was talking to a friend, and I do love those monologues he runs off on there. They always crack me up.
I actually missed that one. I had to go toilet at that point. I came back and it was just the end of it. I missed that one. Yeah.
So remind me to get that into the spoilers later. Okay. But the monologue is fantastic.
Right. Again, spoiler free. How was Michelle Pfeiffer's performance? Did you feel?
Not enough. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, not enough.
Okay, so you can't. Okay, so it's not a big enough part that you can really make a judgment call.
Oh, it's a huge part. It's a huge part, but it's not enough.
Okay, fair enough.
And again, we will get much into that spoilers later on. But she was honestly, I am super excited, and as well. So, without getting into the spoilers, where these characters end up at the end of the film, where every single character lands, I am super excited for the future. And you can't really say that about a lot of movies. Like, you'll get...
News just in, Lucas excited about Marvel film.
What a surprise. He didn't put that coming in there. No, but like, even with Thor Ragnarok, right? They're all on the ship at the end, Asgard's blown up, they're on their way to Earth. And then you get, obviously, Thanos' ship. Initially, like, there's a bit of apprehension of being like, okay, shit, so we know this is going to go straight into this, some shit's about to go down. But there's not really been a Marvel movie that I've thought that has positioned its characters so well for the future. It's rather just been, okay, we need to get them through point A to get them to point B so they finish at point C. They've got them to point C, but that's not the finish line. The finish line is, another 3-4 movies away. That's kind of all I can really say. Another big standout was Hannah Joy Kamen. Is that her name? She was in Black Mirror. She's the chick that plays Ghost.
Right. Yeah. Hannah John Kamen or John.
That's
Kamen?
it. Yeah, John Kamen or something.
Yeah.
She was a standout, man. I've only ever seen her in one thing, which was the episode of Black Mirror, which is arguably the worst episode of Black Mirror.
You watched Ready Player One. She was in that.
Who was she in
Finale? She worked for Ben Mendelsohn.
Finale Xandor.
She was one of Ben Mendelsohn that chased him down.
Yeah, it's not a big role. She's the bad copper in the real world.
Yeah.
Holy shit, she is!
Yeah, it's her.
She's in Tomb Raider.
That.
And she's in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she's in Game of Thrones.
She was in Game of Thrones, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was the Dothraki queen.
Yeah. No, wasn't she one of Khaleesi's handmaidens?
And I thought she was one of the Dothrakis. I mean, she goes to that big village of all the Dothrakis. I'm pretty sure she was.
Her character's name is Ornella, whatever that means. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in Force Awakens.
I really dug her in this. And again, like, and this is what I mean as well, going back to, they've positioned their characters a certain way. Easily every single character in this movie is going to be in the third movie when it inevitably comes out. They've set so much sequel bait up in this that it's insane. But at the same time as well, without getting into the spoilers, they've done a very good job of setting up Ant-Man for Infinity War. For Avengers 4. Done an exceptional job.
All right, so out of 5, gents?
4.5.
4.5 from Ethan, 4 from Lucas.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right, so if you haven't seen the film and you don't want spoilers, switch off now. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you in a fortnight with all the San Diego Comic-Con news. If you have seen the film or you don't care about spoilers, we're going to dive into that now. I say we, I mean Ethan and Lucas, probably just Lucas monologuing for 10 minutes.
Speaking of monologues, that's the first thing we're going to fucking talk about.
You've been warned. All right, off you go. Leash is off.
Okay, leash off. So there is a specific scene where Sonny Birch, who was played, again, someone we didn't mention in the non-spoiler, Walter Goggins. Anyway, they start injecting Louise with truth serum. Louise keeps calling it truth serum. The guy who's injecting was like, it's not truth serum, it just makes you highly suggestible. Anyway, Sonny starts asking him questions, and he breaks into this monologue that literally has... It gives you all the exposition of what happens between Ant-Man and the start of Civil War, in that throughout the movie, you're kind of given hints that Scott Lang and Hank Pym are no longer friendly. They no longer talk because Paul Rudd went to Germany and fucked everything up for them because now they're on the run. Anyway, it gives you all that exposition, and Louise, as in the first movie, is kind of going over and doing the voices for everyone. And he ends up doing the voices for Scott, for Evangeline Lilly, for Hank Pym, for basically every major character in those movies. And it's just the way that it's done and the way it's put together is hilarious. And they even go back to earlier parts in the movie. They've reshot with Louise's voice over the top of it. And it's just, the whole thing is super funny. We were in fits the whole time during that monologue that we kind of missed half of it. But it is super, super funny.
Should we go on to Janet?
Okay, yeah, so we'll talk about that obviously because we've talked about the, like we talked about it, kind of her role wasn't big enough. So what do you reckon she's in the last 10 minutes?
15? Yeah, last 10, 15 minutes. 15 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, she has powers. She has fucking powers.
As in mutant or super?
It's kind of like the way she explained it is that because she's been in the way she's been in the quantum realm for the past 30 years, it's kind of evolved her.
Yes.
And Ant-Man the one, you don't see it. They go back and show us, but Scott did actually encounter Janet when he was in the quantum realm, and she put like a beaker, a transmitter in it. So then when Hank and Hope are at the quantum realm, Scott
she was able to
dream.
communicate to them through Scott.
Yeah, so they do that. So then they realize, oh shit, Janet's still alive. We have to get her out. And they find out that Ghost wants to do it. And if she tries to do that, it'll kill Janet. They eventually get Janet out. Hank goes all the way in, pulls Janet out. They come back out. And then Janet's shown using her powers to sort of
heal
Ghost's powers for temporarily.
Yeah, she kind of puts two fingers to the temple on either side and her hands glow like a bright orange, and she's able to stop the flux of Ghost. And it's kind of nullified her phasing ability, but it's only a temporary fix.
Yeah.
And her cells will eventually start to break down again. But
so that's the sort of power she has.
Yeah, she kind of has this, in a way, and that's what I mean in the sense of she's kind of a mutant in a way without obviously naming it. Purely because she's the next part of human evolution, which, if you know the mutant lore in the X-Men, in the Marvel universe, that's what they are. So.
Yeah, although the powers come from
the quantum realm,
with a mutant, whereas supers get their powers from an external source.
Yeah,
correct.
That's the big thing for Janet.
Right.
Yeah, and then like I said, she was only in it for 10 minutes. The reunion of her and Pym is super emotional. I kind of teared up a little bit because it was kind of that moment of like they'd been apart for 30 years and it's almost as if they hadn't spent any time apart.
Oh, okay.
It was just the moment where they meet is very cool.
One of the most funniest scenes in the entire movie is they open up the quantum gateway again, and it's Hope,
oh my god,
Hank, and Scott all there. And they're all doing it, and they think like, okay, if we open it up again, Janet's going to contact us through Scott again. So they do that. What actually happens is Janet possesses Scott's body, and he walks over and he starts working on the computer, and they realize like, oh shit, Janet's in Scott's body. And then Scott starts touching their faces and being all lovey to them like Janet would be, and it is just the look on their face when they know it's Janet in there, but the fact that Scott's doing it is just absolutely hilarious.
The humor,
the Stan Lee cameo.
What was the Stanley cameo? I can't remember.
He was his security guard or something in his car.
No. He was about to like open up his car, and his car shrunk.
And he says, must have been all the drugs I did in the 60s or something.
The 60s are coming back to haunt me.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, can you believe that there's people online that are really unhappy with that cameo? Like there's some outcry.
It was super quick.
No,
so much
the
that
context of it.
Like it's drug referencing.
Oh man,
people are
right? I know.
Who gives a shit? Stan Lee has been super open about his drug use in the 50s and 60s. Like, I don't know why this is an issue.
Yeah.
Now I want to get into the most biggest part of the movie, which is its mid-credit scene.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Before you do that, do your end credits, because that's kind of irrelevant. And then, because I think mid-credits is the really important meaty bit. We have an ant.
Yeah, because during the movie, Hope and Hank, because Scott's getting to like the last 2 days of his house arrest. So Hope and Hank, he contacts them, they come, they pretty much kidnap him from their house, and they put his ankle bracelet for his home detention on an ant, and the ant is set to program to do his daily routine. And during like the movie at the start, you see that Scott sits there playing the electric drums for a while. So the end credit scene is just an ant sitting there playing the electric drums.
Yes. And quite possibly will be doing so for some years to come.
Quite possibly, yes.
So the meaty bit is the mid-credit scene.
Yep. The mid-credit scene. So
I can spoil this one. Obviously, Ant-Man heads into the quantum realm, with
to kind of give it a bit of
context.
like to explain it a bit more deeper.
They're harvesting resources.
They've made a version of the quantum what's it called? The thing that Hank Pym travels. The quantum tunnel. They make a version of the quantum tunnel that's big enough to fit in the back of the van. And Hope and Janet and Hank are all basically trying to get resources out to help heal Ava, which is Ghost. Yeah, and then that's when Ant-Man goes into the quantum realm.
Unfortunately, while he's in there, something happens.
And that big thing is the Thanos.
And everybody that's not in the quantum realm and is there to help pull him out turns to ash.
So Scott's sitting there going, "All right, guys, I'm ready to come out. Come on, guys,
This
stop
isn't
messing
funny,
with me.
come
Ready
on."
to come out."
Yeah.
And then he screams, and then it zooms out, and there's 3 piles of dust,
Yeah, the dust
showing
is
that
starting
Hank,
to
Hope,
settle.
and Janet had snapped. But right before Scott goes in, Janet says to him, "Be careful of the time vortexes. If you get stuck into one of those, we can't help you." Which I think is a hint of how Scott's going to get out in Avengers 4.
Oh,
It's going to be one of 2 things. He's either going to find a time vortex, get spat out 5 years in the future, and that's when he's going to go and find Peanut, who's now 16 or whatever.
Yeah, because there's set
casting.
photos showing him running down the street looking very worried, which I think is him getting out of the quantum realm, realizing what's happening is 5 years on, and they've cast someone as a teenage version.
He's going to bump into Captain Marvel.
Like, does Captain Marvel actually have a power to go into the quantum realm or not? That's what I want to know. Does she have that power?
No.
Apparently, apparently the Captain Marvel film is going to deal with quantum, though. The quantum dimension, like the quantum realm.
Okay.
Is what I have read. Because Gunn has said that Star-Lord is the only human in outer space, presently. Like, in the current
Well, yeah,
universe.
because now she's evolved.
Well,
he's
yeah,
right.
it could be a play on words. But, she could also be stuck in the quantum realm. So we don't know. But I think more likely, yes, he will just... also, I think they're looking a bit too hard into it, but apparently there's an image of Thanos in the background too.
People say Thanos or Dormammu, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, or Dormammu, in the background of the quantum sort of skyline, so to speak. So, I mean, Thanos would kind of make more sense considering what's happening in that scene, I guess, but still, it would be neat if there was something like that.
Okay, yes, some quantum physicist said that he was contacted to help with some stuff for Captain Marvel and Ant-Man.
Yes. Yeah, which is there's definitely the theory is that the quantum realm is the connective tissue going forward with the because then we're assuming then that's also how Stark is going to use this tunnel technology that Pym's been making to then start doing shenanigans in Avengers 4.
I think as well, so to get into a bit of theory crafting, what I think is going to happen is, like we were saying about the time vortexes, he's going to come out of one of those time vortexes. And for those, this could get into potential spoilers for Avengers 4. They announced a while ago that the kid that played Harley in Iron Man 3 is also going to be in the film, but no one's known to what extent he's going to be in it. The theory is he's going to be playing Iron Lad, and Cassie will be Stature.
Yeah, and you're going to have Young Avengers. Please don't.
Then, I really hope they do, because they they foreshadowed Cassie becoming a hero.
If they want to do it as a TV series. Don't do it in movie.
Man, do it.
No. What I think will happen is that they'll probably do it in Avengers 4, but that'll be the only mention we'll get for it for quite a while.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to come for a number of years, possibly maybe 5 or so years.
They'll only exist in this particular timeline, and when everything gets reset, they have no need of becoming Avengers. Because
it's entirely possible that will happen.
Yeah, that's fine. I could live with that. So, it leaves things on an interesting note. Now we have to wait until next year for Captain Marvel,
which we'll finally get something about. Hopefully,
no trailer this weekend, obviously. But
no, we'll get it. I think they said the trailer's a long way off, so people reckon we could get it around November.
Maybe Star Wars.
Is that for Avengers?
No, for Captain Marvel. No. Captain Marvel will probably be a couple of months. Avengers probably won't be until November, December. We won't hear anything until then, I think.
Yeah, I reckon Captain Marvel will be around September, early October. Avengers, they'll start ramping that up around December. So because I know that they're not going to want Avengers to overshadow Captain Marvel, but there's only 8 weeks of time between the two movies.
Yeah,
that there's going to be no way it's not going to happen. And they've also said as well that they're going to announce the title for Avengers 4 after they've debuted the first trailer for Captain Marvel. So whenever we get the Marvel thing, we can then basically do our own mini countdown to when we're going to get Avengers 4 title.
I kind of feel like it's going to be a big letdown, though. All this secrecy around the title.
Feige said that.
Kevin
Feige said that. He said the fans have built it up, and it's not going to be anything special.
And then it'll be Endgame, and we'll all be like, "Oh, I knew it was going to be Endgame, and you said no."
But it's no matter what the title's going to be, you're going to have people that are going to be like that, and that's just reality, unfortunately.
I saw one a while back saying it was called Avengers 4 Till Death Do Us Part.
Oh, here you go. So Pym gives Stark the wormhole tech, so roundabout, and then in return, Stark gives Pym the Ultron tech. Oh!
Wait, are you saying that?
Well, that'd be neat, though. I mean, because it's meant to be Pym that makes Ultron.
Oh, I thought you were reading that somewhere because you said.
No, wouldn't that be cool, though? Wouldn't that be cool? Like, or if you actually, you know what? If we rebooting things, arguably, like stuff's getting changed, and if Iron Man's no longer around and the timeline's being changed, you could, now that you've introduced Pym, change things like that, and you could have had it that so it was like Pym that makes or made Ultron, like the comics. You could do that. Because I'd like to see Ultron come back. I think he was a good villain.
Yeah.
Maybe not as a major villain, like his own film, but like a cameo villain would be good. Like teaming up with like, I don't know.
Honestly, they need to treat the villains they have alive like, this is a pretty unfair comparison. They need to treat them like the way Christopher Nolan treated them in the Dark Knight movies, where it was originally planned for Joker to appear in a minor role in The Dark Knight Rises. And then, as Scarecrow did, as a minor role in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises.
Like Galactus returns and he comes with Ultron. That'll work. Thank you.
And again, like how Crossbones showed up in
Yes.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Sorry, I just thought of some Crossbow news. Frank Grillo put up on. Hold on, let me just find it.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this. But he teased he's coming back.
He's been teasing for a while that he's coming back to Marvel for quite a while. He recently put up a toy of Crossbones. He says, okay, I guess my life is now complete. And then he put hashtag Captain America the Winter Soldier, hashtag Captain America Civil War, hashtag Aven ...
Maybe this is the alternate universe. Or one of the alternate universes.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, if they're going to do a big reboot, then, you don't know how much they're rebooting. You don't know how much Stark is going to have to delete to fix things.
I don't think it's a reboot. I think they're just going to change some things that happened right before Infinity War, so everything will go back to how it was like before Infinity War. I think that's what's going to change.
I feel like if anything, it's going to be a soft reboot in the sense that they're going to undo some damage. Like, for example, what they did with Red Skull. I think they're going to bring Red Skull back. I think that they're going to might be undoing Quicksilver's death. I think there's going to be some things that there's going to be some things that they undo. And some things that they're going to change and be like, okay, cool. So in this reality, Hawkeye never joined S.H.I.E.L.D., I think that's going to kind of happen, and like some things are going to happen to undo and then fix some things moving forward. But this movie is definitely just going to be a retooling movie.
We'll have to wait and see.
Now
it's a long gap now between this and the next Marvel film.
Yeah.
I guess we've got some DC between now and then to fill the gap.
Who the fuck cares?
Just Aquaman. Just Aquaman.
We've got Venom in the meantime. So that's gonna be enough.
You got Venom.
Ooh,
what other
Venom.
I mean, you got Star Wars. What other big releases we got coming out for the next 6 months? Star
We don't have
Wars?
Star Wars.
That's
Star Wars
it.
was May. Star Wars was May. We don't have a December one.
So what do we got?
There's no Star Wars this year apart from Solo.
What's the back half of 2018?
Yeah, me.
Literally nothing. There's nothing major coming out. Just honestly, it's Venom, Aquaman.
We have Venom, Aquaman. We've got
Captain Marvel, then Avengers. That's all in the realm of superhero, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, yeah, superhero. Yeah.
I just
Other big movies.
films.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Like outside of that, I don't think that there's much.
Yeah,
There's Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Oh yeah, shit, Wreck-It Ralph.
But that's been delayed. It comes out Thanksgiving in America. We don't get it until Boxing Day.
Yeah.
There's Halloween.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Overlord, which isn't a Cloverfield movie.
Have they confirmed a date for that yet?
Yeah, it's October 26th. Yeah, that's about all. Not a lot. Fantastic Beasts 2, Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse, there's that one. Bumblebee.
The Predator is in September.
Oh, yeah, Predator. Yeah, we got Predator, that's right.
Oh, hang on, that's one I was looking forward to. Yeah, the house with a clock in its walls.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Also, the Meg is out next month.
oh god.
Yeah, so Venom in October. We've got a
And
Goosebumps movie in October.
Before Captain
The
Marvel,
Nun.
we have Dark Phoenix as well. Dark Phoenix is 15th of
Yeah.
February. Captain Marvel is like end of
there
February
you
for
go.
us.
Yeah.
You got the next Fantastic Beasts in November. That would be big.
Yep.
It's pretty quiet. It's a pretty quiet back half.
Creed
There's
2,
a
Robin
couple of okay
Hood,
films, but nothing
Aquaman.
massive.
Alita, Bumblebee,
Yeah, Bumblebee will be shit.
Mortal Engines, Wreck-It Ralph 2,
Yeah.
Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins will be the Christmas movie.
Yep.
And that's
No,
about
Mary
it.
Poppins. Mary Poppins is out New Year's Day.
Oh, American release is December 19.
Yep.
So
But yeah.
it'll be a Christmas movie, so to speak. But yeah, bit
Oh,
ordinary.
Holmes and Watson as well. That's the Will Ferrell,
John
John
C.
C.
Reilly.
Riley one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and one other thing. You guys heard about Sacha Baron Cohen's new show coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I did.
3 p.m. on Stan.
Yep.
All right, so
Cool.
thank you to everybody for listening. A huge thank you to our Patreon supporters that help make all this possible. So we'll be back next fortnight, and we'll have a bunch of San Diego Comic-Con news. Lucas is not going to be with us for a little while because he's actually heading over to the United States for a while.
Yeah, unfortunately, I landed the weekend before Comic-Con. I totally didn't even realize that I was going to be over there for it, but I'm totally going to miss it. I'm not even going to be close to there, so...
Damn, would have been great to
Upset.
have you in there.
Yeah, I mean,
You'd
it
like
would be fantastic.
tweeting all the goss.
Dude, it would be fantastic, but yeah.
So how long are you over there for?
So I'm over there for 5 weeks. I come back, I think the weekend... I come back over on the 17th of August.
So we'll see you in about 3 or 4 podcasts then.
Yeah, I won't be here for a little while, but that's no surprise.
That's right. We'll just make sure that we rag you out while you're gone.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Just
That's
do
cool.
it while I'm not here to defend myself.
Yeah. Also, in the next fortnight, Ethan's going to watch Sicario 1.
No, he's not.
And I'm going to continue to bully... and I'm going to continue to bully Jesse into taking me to see Sicario 2. Because I haven't seen it yet. And I want to be able to review it.
You guys got a little
so.
cute
Yeah,
boy
he's-
date.
He's not taking me on a boy date. I know. I'm really disappointed. Probably needs a kiss. Anyway,
Slide
that's it for
in
this,
those DM.
that's
your
it for this
shot.
podcast. Thank you very much for listening. We'll catch you in a fortnight. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.